They're entering into the covenant of marriage. Covenant is different than a contract. In a contract, you promise to do something, but in a covenant, you promise to become someone, a husband and a wife. In what they're doing, they're basing their covenant on the covenant that we read about in the opening chapters of the Bible in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 2, it says that at each step of the creation, what God did was good. And then when he finishes all of creation, he says it's very good. But then there's something that God says was not good, and that was that the man was alone. And so we read that in solution to that problem, God put the man asleep and took from his side that which he made into his bride. Now this is interesting because Adam was alone. He didn't know he was alone. God saw that he was alone and said it wasn't good. We read these two verses about how God brought all of the animals to Adam to see what he would name them. You can just imagine Adam as he's naming all the animals. He recognizes each of them has a mate, and he realizes after a while, there's no one like him. He's all alone. And so now he realizes his loneliness and he begins to feel it. And it's only then that God puts him to sleep and takes from his side that which he makes into his bride.
He's intelligent, he's wise and selfless, and the way he loves me is with a selfless love. And he's just a big-hearted person, and I love him.
May your love be as solid as a rock for the rest of your lives. Thank you. Okay.
God desires that a husband and wife would be completely open and honest with each other. Only then can they become the one that God intends a husband and a wife to become in marriage. It's a sign, it's a picture, it's a description of the complete intimacy and openness that actually meets the deepest need of our hearts to find companionship. It's when we're open and honest and not worrying that the other person is going to know who we are and what we are and then reject us. It's that confidence that comes in knowing that no matter what we know about each other, we still are committed to love and to be a part of each other's lives.
In 2013, I went through some just extremely challenging things in my life. And at that time, I came to faith and belief in God. And at the beginning of 2014, I actually went to a big ministry church event and gave my life and dedicated my life to Christ and really decided to get very serious about my faith. And it was a very radical difference in the way I've lived my life, up to that point. And it's really amazing, though. There's a verse, Psalm 37:4, that says, if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. And it was literally less than 2 months after I made that decision and started this radical difference in living my life that I went out on a first date with Jacyln.
I think I realized Jacyln was the one when I saw how deep his faith was in God, that his relationship with God was not just superficial, it was actually profound, and that he owned his relationship with God. So just seeing how we were matched in that way, that was my sign for me. That was the one God had for me.
Well, the first thing that attracted me to Jacyln, honestly, was the fact that she's a musician. And she's got the voice of an angel. Being with her has completely changed my life because she's the kind of person that very openly expresses her emotions and shares like deep parts of herself. That aspect of her is what I've probably loved and appreciated more than anything, is just how open and caring she is, just her heart for people and for God. Yeah, her being a pretty talented musician was definitely some icing on the cake, I'd have to say.
I now declare that you are husband and wife according to the ordinance of God and the laws of the state of California. And so you may kiss your groom.
The song that means the most to me is one I wrote for Jacyln. It's called Home, and I wrote it after we watched a movie that is kind of a classic, and it just kind of highlighted what my life has been like before Jacyln, and just kind of how I was running and scared and lost and confused, and then meeting Jacyln was like, you know, a turning point and a symbol of God's gift to me for someone that I was looking for.
I was running through the dark, trying to fill this heart, alone and trying to make it on my own, trying to hide the scars. Oh, I was wild and running scared. Then your love caught me unprepared. I'm coming home to you. I'm running home to you.
One of the things that we're told, you know, the Lord tells us is to count our blessings. So look around you. Everybody look around you. How many people are here? You want to start counting? Each one of you is a blessing.
Wish for them the longevity in their relationship that God intends.
You found me running from the past, and still it seems so black. But you're the one that I have wanted for so long. No one compares to that. Oh, I was trying to find something true. Oh, baby, I was lost till I found you. Yeah, I'm coming home to you. I'm running home to you. I'm coming home to you, baby. I'm running
Jacyln, you are the biggest gift God has given me, the biggest fulfillment of a promise that God had for me all my life. And you are the biggest window to God and seeing His love. And you mean the most to me. I love you so much.
I honestly don't believe that I would have been able to make it through some of the challenges I've been through in the last little over a year if it wasn't for you and just the love that you've poured into me throughout that time. I just can't wait to start this next chapter of our lives together.
Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they two shall become one flesh.